Jag syns svårt. Jag syns som ett mål.
Libraries at times of Google. This means that things change and people change. And things do not stop changing. There's the internet and the cultural shift, which internet brings to us. What is it? Well, I'm referring to another professor, Dr. Glenn. He said that in a digital environment, we used to deal with scarcity. Well, that has been our human lot since the beginning of history. Now we face plenitude. And plenitude there is, and people are using it. And I can skip this over because this is the Google generation, of course. And what is happening that people are using it very intensely. And Richard Lanham characterizes that cultural shift as such that the internet models the large cultural conversation which is going on. And when something is put up there or used in the cultural conversation, people naturally consider it not as a product but as a part of a conversation, whether it be the exchange of embroidery patterns or pop songs. So what is happening is that the internet has become a social medium. The social medium, it has become the place where people are hanging out, they're finding friends, they're forming gangs, they exchange stories, they share media, etc. So what people are doing there on the internet, in those digital networks, is find information. It is accessible, it is independent of time and place. Internet has become the place where you decide what to read, when to game, which film you want to watch. And it's where you take part more and more in an ongoing cultural conversation. So if you look at these characteristics of internet, it pretty resembles what a library thinks it is doing, or what a library should be for its users. So internet is really a challenge for public libraries. Because all functions of public libraries are challenged by internet. What we think for the moment in the French debates is that we have to, in this changed environment, we have to reformulate the mission of public libraries. Because the public libraries still exist, and they have to find their role in a radically changed environment. And what we think we have to do in a debate is to identify today's social issues and see for what kind of social issues libraries can and should be a solution. And this debate should be a debate with all stakeholders. It's not only a debate for librarians, and it can not only be national debates separately from each other. And these three aspects, these 3 points in red, are the reasons why DIPNet is investing, in fact, in this conference. So, do public libraries have a role? And again, I'm relying on Lanham for this. Well, yes, he says public libraries are fit to take up new roles in this new digital environment, because the physical books themselves, they were always incidental to the real library mission, which was the dispersion of knowledge. So the library's final loyalty is not to media, not to books, not to music as such, but to knowledge, to the free marketing of ideas, to stimulating the cultural conversations going on. So we have to reformulate what a public library is, I think. And just following the slide are some ideas of what could be ingredients of that new formulated mission of public libraries. It's not a final answer, because that's the answer we have to give together after some debates. Essentially, public libraries remain a correction of the market. They have to deliver access to a diverse and a living culture, so cultural conversations keep on being rich. And they have to give access to information and knowledge. Neutral, different, professional is that quality aspect, which is very important here. And secondly, I think, and that's part of the discussions today and tomorrow, I hope, is public libraries do have a role and a co-responsibility, not an exclusive responsibility, but a co-responsibility for an inclusive society. Supporting the local community life, they are very much a place within the local community, a place where people can meet physically, and they are they have opportunities to bridge the digital divide. And when we are reformulating the mission of public libraries from a policy level, we also have to reformulate it in the value public libraries can bring to the public. Again, it is about, but, and that's part of the discussions I think we have to do tomorrow. And also, and that's again referring to what Richard Lamb is giving to us, a lot of librarians, and it's the same analysis they made in the Netherlands. A lot of librarians are still thinking about we are good in working with books, with music, with information, etc. Well, they should be becoming experts in working with people, mobilizing people, be part of the cultural conversations going on within society and try to enrich those cultural conversations. And they have to try to relate to people who lack stimuli in their own social networks. They have to relate to the non-participants, which is quite difficult, but I'm glad to see there are some experts in the room who have already a lot of experience in how to do so. And to end a little bit more positive, I personally think that public libraries really have some advantages and strengths to tackle that challenge of inclusion in our society. Because public libraries, and I think Chris already referred to it, they are aware of the fact that they need to change, and they know what the difficulties are with changing and with integrating technological developments into their systems and into their work process. Because in the past they already were very successful in doing so. And what our experience is in Flemish situation is that concerning technology, a lot of the libraries at the local level are in the front line of adapting to new technology, or at least looking at new technology, and they know what the difficulties are of taking in new technology in your job. They have a kind of professional attitude which makes them apt to work with people and to tackle the problem of inclusion. They are for all the people and for people who need some help in particular. Mostly they have good infrastructure, at least in Flanders, and they have very, very good locations within the local environment, within the local community. And they have rich collections. It's not a librarian who said this, but somebody else who said they have so many items, and so many items are not that only stories and music, etc. But it's every item in a collection is in fact an opportunity to connect to people and to connect people to each other. So libraries really have some strengths to rely on. And I think what we have to do is to have a good discussions these 2 days, and to think about libraries as a place where people keep on learning, bonding, and discovering, and entertaining themselves in all kinds of situations. Because I think probably our society still needs that kind of places. That should normally be the end of my conclusion, but probably also you might find it interesting to find some inspiration and to learn something from time to time. That's why I'm presenting the 3 authors who were very inspirational for me in building up this presentation. Thank you.